So let me just give you a quick overview of Social Venture Partners and what we're about. So some of you may not know. I'm the executive chair, Mitch Kaufman. And in terms of our mission, as many of you know, we're work with nonprofits and local organizations. The unique thing about us, we're not a traditional funding organization. We contribute our talent, expertise first and foremost, along with grants, to in a meaningful and fun way. And the idea is we want to help build capacity. We want to be your long-term partners to help you succeed. And the whole idea is to have impactful change and make our community better. And along the way, you'll find we have great thought seekers who can provide innovative solutions for what your capacity needs are. Whoa! And again, the whole idea is to help make Santa Barbara a more caring and supportive community. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of SVP, and then we're going to have a random selection. I have everybody's name in this envelope to go around the class. And we'd ask you to try to stay within 5 minutes, and this is what we call a fast pitch, which hopefully also helps you to articulate your proposition when you're talking to potential funders. And then after the presentations, we'll have an opportunity for small group breakouts in different areas, so you have some confidentiality. And then we'll come back and go with your next steps, any questions that you have on how to move forward. In terms of Social Venture Partners, we're one of 31 chapters in 5 countries, so we are truly international. And we were chartered in 2008, and we're a field of interest fund for Santa Barbara Foundation. We've invested almost $500,000 so far in our existence. And we work with 9 nonprofits, and we probably over $1 million worth of consulting expertise if you were to go out and buy this on your own. So we talk about the money, but it's much more than money. It's a relationship, and it's a partnership. So who are our partners? You like that? That's us. We're not typical volunteers. Many of us are successful professionals in corporate life, or we had our own businesses. And so we like to think that we bring a lot to the table, not only in terms of our talents, but also our consultative ability and ability to listen. And so we have thought partners, networks. We can also help with strategic thinkers, planning. And we'll have a handout that you can follow. But the main idea of these models is that we're not a traditional funding organization. So your proposals for SVP, we want to know what your organization's vision and mission are, and how we can work together to create a stronger community and to better our community's most entrenched problems. Kind of like fitting pieces of the puzzle together. Our partners, again, a wide variety of partners' expertise, and we bring that to bear to help you with your capacity building. One thing I'd like to make a special note of are the important dates. Now, of course, we're here today, 19th. This is what we call our Investor Seeker Workshop. And then on the 30th, we're asking that your applications be submitted for review. And then between the 9th and the 17th, we'll be reviewing applications and talking with you to determine what follow-up is needed, what additional information, questions. And then on the 7th of November, we anticipate making our decisions. So please make note of those dates, and certainly, again, we're here to help any way we can. Again, let me point out Joan Young, our Executive Director, a wonderful resource, and please feel free to call on her, not all at once, to be of any help. So, without further ado, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to pick this? One. Okay. And the first winner is Storyteller.
before we started, nobody wants to be first and nobody wants to be last. So we'll do the first one. I'm Terry Allison. I'm the director of Storyteller Children's Center. And Storyteller Children's Center, come over yes. Okay, sure. Storyteller Children's Center is a child care center that provides all-day care for children 18 months to 5 that are homeless, at risk, living in crowded housing, things like that. And what we do at Storyteller that is unique is that we are a therapeutic preschool. So the children that come to us have often suffered some trauma, and so our teachers, therapists, and parents work to build the capacity of the children. But I think that what can really, these are our statistics and things like that, but I have a video of a family and a therapist who worked with one of our children that I think says it better than I can.
At that time, the living situation was such where they were living in a one-bedroom apartment. At that time, the living situation was such where they were living in a one-bedroom apartment that was shared with 4 other families. The Luna family had space for a bed, and Dayanara spent most of her time sitting on the bed. When Dayanara was about 15, 16 months, she wasn't moving correctly, wasn't walking. We again asked Storyteller for a space for Dayanara because she really needed to be able to move.
Then the changes really started to happen, and it was pretty amazing. Her progress was great and swift.
Desde que empezaron mis niñas a venir aquí, siento que como mi autoestima ha subido más. Siento que sí estoy preparada para el futuro. Ahora sí tengo como más esperanza que antes no.
Storyteller is working really hard to break that cycle of poverty. The part about it that really works is that the family is doing it for themselves, and they're doing it for reasons that are important to them. And we're just saying, we're going to give you a roadmap, and then we're going to send you on your way. And we believe that you can make it.
And now I'd like to introduce Tiffany Foster, our board president.
Thanks, Mary. Hi. So my name is Tiffany Foster. I'm the current president of the board of Storyteller Children's Center. And this year we're celebrating our 25th year of service to the community. And there's a saying that says every 25 years an organization should either shut down or reinvent itself. We're not shutting down. So as we look to the next 25 years, we're thinking about evolving our program, involving the delivery of our program, and evolving our fundraising. So with regards to the program, we work with UCSB and we work with the Govertz Institute on a tracking study. We track the outcomes and the progress of every student as they leave Storyteller from kindergarten all the way through 3rd grade. And then we take this data and we put it back into the system as a way to refine and improve our services for the families and the children. So it's a continuous cycle going on of improving our program. This data has I kind of don't have time to talk about this right now. This is, we're just talking about a couple of points here. One of the measurements for kindergarten readiness, which is such an important indicator, is this K-STEP score. And if you look at the bottom line, 4 blocks over, there's a figure of 21%. And this is research that shows in Santa Barbara County as a whole, only 21% of the kids, regardless of what preschool they've been to, all the ones our kids go to as well, only 21% are actually deemed kindergarten ready when they start kindergarten. We take the lowest income children, the highest risk, the most traumatized. We have a current success rate of 62% of our kids being ready. So our graduates from Storyteller, despite the at-risk factors, are outperforming, 3 to 1 the other kids in this community. So that's about evolving our program. In terms of evolving the delivery of our program, given the success that our graduates are having, there's a number of other organizations within this community who are looking to us for best demonstrated practice. So we're currently, at the moment, working with Transition House, and we're implementing a collaborative Storyteller Calm model or framework to get transition houses childcare off the ground. We're also in discussion with the Santa Barbara School District to look at how we can take our collaborative framework, our model, and implement it in some of the Santa Barbara School District to see if we can also get some of their kids' kindergarten ready. So this is very exciting. One of the areas we're looking for help is evolving this framework, developing this framework more fully so that we can roll it out and explore this consultative model as a way to serve more families and children in Santa Barbara. Thirdly, evolving our fundraising. We have a current budget of $1.6 million. We have income we bring in of $1.3 million. We raise 80% of our money through private foundations, grants, and individual donations. The balance of it comes from some federal and local California preschool funding. We are looking at completely revamping our whole development department. We're trying to get away from event-driven income and move more to real relationships, major giving programs. We're looking at donor retention, donor relations. So we need also help creating a plan for a development department of the future, one that can sustain our organization. So as I finish up, there's just a couple of other final pieces of information I think are critical. Number one, we have a very active, committed, passionate board of about 15 million. That would be really awesome. 15, I'm thinking big. 15 people, and it's a fantastic, very hard-working board. We are in the midst of creating our strategic plan, another area we would really like some guidance and expertise. Our strategic plan is focusing on our vision for the next 5 years, and the backdrop of all of this, apart from the 3 initiatives I've already mentioned, we can also see about 4 years down the track that we have a perfect storm brewing for the Storyteller. We have, since we expanded to 2 sites and doubled our capacity in 2007 or 8, we have operated with a gap where our expenses are actually about $300,000 to $400,000 higher than our income each year. We knew that when we expanded that would happen. We prepared for that. We raised $2.5 million in an expansion campaign in 2007-8 to cover that gap for 10 years while we increased our fundraising to match it. We're still sitting on $1.5 million in the bank, but with our current burn rate, we've got about 4 years before that cushion is expended, and then we need to raise our fundraising in the meantime. So that's one thing that's hanging out there. Our 10-year rent-free lease on our second site, the rent-free period ends in 4 years, which means we're going to have a big increase in our rent expense coming up. That building is also up for sale now, and no one wants to buy it. In addition to that, the lease on our second site expires 5 years from now. What will that new rent be? And we've just had 50% of our federal funding for preschool cut with the recent government sequester. So that's another $115,000 gone. So while this paints a pretty gloomy picture, it's actually very exciting. We've got cash in the bank, 4 strong years ahead of us, but we're planning now for what's going to happen down the path 4 years from now. And that's why this is such a critical time for Storyteller. We've done such great work for 25 years. We have a number of very tangible projects that we think are exciting, that we could really look for guidance and expertise as we go forward with Storyteller. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Sheila, would you like to pick our next presenter? Okay, let's see where it is.
EDC?
I feel like it's a game show.
Let me just point out to help with timing, Joan's going to stand over there and she'll signal.
Put my hand up when you're at about 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Wise to let me know that. Here tomorrow morning, we wake up and no one's still talking. So if I stand here, am I blind if I light? I'm not using the screen, but can people see me?
Just
turn this off.
Oh, look at that, magic. That's all right. I won't breathe here. Well, thank you all for inviting EDC to be here today. This is very exciting for our organization, and we believe we have a project that has broad community benefit to talk about, so we're excited to be here. As many of you know, the Environmental Defense Center, or EDC, is marking its 36th year, helping to protect and enhance our local environment. And we do that by representing charitable organizations that share our concern for our coast and ocean, open space and wildlife, and community and environmental health. EDC has 10 full-time staff members. We have 4 attorneys, 2 environmental analysts, and 4 administrative staff, including myself. And we've made our reputation over time by providing free and low-cost services to nonprofit organizations and by our significant track record of success. We have successfully stopped 40 or retired 40 offshore oil leases. We have stopped 3 separate attempts to bring liquefied natural gas to our coastline. We have helped preserve permanently 100,000 acres of open space, and we've ensured that Santa Barbara County has some of the strongest protections against fracking anywhere in the state. Today we're here to talk to you about a project, a service project, that we're excited to explore in partnership with SVP. For many years, EDC has hosted and staffed an environmental hotline. Anybody with an environmental concern can call us, and we will help them to navigate the regulatory landscape. We'll provide guidance, information, support, referrals. Over the last several years alone, we've taken in more than 850 different calls. And with each one, we've helped people to understand the process, how decisions are made, what offices they need to work with, and in many cases connected them with other nonprofit organizations in our region. This year, we're excited to begin the process to expand and enhance that service so we can reach a broader network, a broader cross-section of Santa Barbara communities. And we want to do that by creating an environmental resource guide. The guide would have a couple of goals. Number one, it will help people understand the resources that are available. And that includes the broad network of nonprofit organizations that are available. And 2, it will help people understand how decisions are made, inspiring and empowering more people to get involved in the process. This guide would include a breakdown of what the groups are and how the nonprofits engage. It will include a list and descriptions of the different agencies and offices and quasi-governmental organizations that individuals need to work with. It will also be indexed by region or by specialty, so people will have a guide that is as user-friendly as possible. This is also a capacity building project for the Environmental Defense Center. In short, it allows us to do more with less. It allows us to reach a broader universe of people using less staff time. It also allows us to connect with a broader constituency, helping more people to see the Environmental Defense Center as the connective tissue in the environmental world, the go-to organization for their specific areas of concern. It also, with a co-branded project with Social Venture Partners, offers us significant marketing opportunities, and we believe offers us new and strengthened channels for membership acquisition, which is an important strategic driver for our long-term sustainability. From SVP's perspective, we believe this is a project you would be very proud to associate yourself with as what we anticipate a long-time community good. Santa Barbarans have a well-deserved pride of place and a love of their natural environment. The sole purpose of this tool is to help more people get engaged, to help protect what we have for future generations. One of the things that we've really thought through is SVP's desire to create opportunities for partners to engage with the projects and organizations that you support. We are excited about the depth of opportunities for engagement. But we also don't know what capacities are available. We don't know what volunteers would step forward. So we've come forward with a project that we have every confidence in EDC's ability to deliver. SVP will make it stronger. SVP will make it better. It will help us to reach the audience that needs this project. But we have built in a flexibility for the ways and degrees that SVP will want to get engaged. 5 minutes. So I'm going to say thank you for this opportunity. One last quick moment. This is a project that our board is extremely excited about. It actually was born of the strategic process that our board went through just 2 years ago. I'm happy to be joined by our board president, Peter Schuyler, our vice president, Lee Heller, our immediate past president, Gail Osherenko, and Brian Troutwine is our staff person who is an environmental analyst. He is our environmental hotline lead, and he runs our watershed protection program. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Very good.
Organic Soup Kitchen.
All right.
I'm gonna bring something up, hold on.
How do you get up there?
You jump on the table. Stand up at that place. This is the first test.
We have literature for you afterwards, so.
Okay. So my name is Anthony Caraccio. I'm the director of Organic Soup Kitchen here in Santa Barbara. We've been a nonprofit since October of 2009. And I'm just going to give you a short history on where we've been and where we're going. So in 2009, I decided to start feeding people down in the park. Very naive. Went down there with a pot of soup, started feeding people. After a couple of weeks, the health department came down. Thanks to the news press, they took pictures. When they were photographing me, I was like posing, but that wasn't a good thing. So they asked me, you know, I needed a license, I needed to be buying insurance, a commercial kitchen. It was like, so we got all that done really fast. And lo and behold, we were feeding people by the hundreds, just pushing food out there. So there was a little concern going on in my head, and that was we were attracting people and feeding them, but we weren't, that's all we were doing. So I decided, okay, I had to get into the culture of what was going on in Santa Barbara. And I realized that there were a lot of outreach agencies. So really fast, we decided that what we were going to be was a support to the outreach agencies. And right now, we support 6 great nonprofits here in Santa Barbara with really great food. And the food part, I'll give you a little short gist on that. The food that we serve is basically soups, and it's vegan, organic, low glycemic, anti-inflammatory, and gluten-free. Because that way, you can feed it to seniors. Seniors consume very little calories, but they need that nutrient-dense food. Children need that type of food. People on medication, diabetics. So that's the type of food we put out there. You know, as long as you can give them the fats, the salts, the sugars, and the carbohydrates, and let it be healthy, we do that. So our soups, the carnivore would love, and they're all vegan. So okay, so we had a couple of things in place. You know, we're partnering with people, there's the collaboration, we're giving them a good product. Okay, so now we're going really well down the road. And then I started looking at, everyone wants to donate to us. I mean, damn, it's like more produce than you could ever think. And we can only move so fast. So, I started looking into how do we stabilize all the excess produce in this area. And so, to make the story short, I bought a big chamber vacuum sealer. You blanch your food, you stop the enzymes from growing and aging, and then you vacuum seal it. You can get produce to stay for up to 2 years in the freezer that way. So that was how to stabilize food. And plus there's a lot of other processes I won't get into. And then the other one was, okay, things are going great right now. We're getting nickels and dimes coming in and little donations coming in. Sustainability, how do we cover that one? And it was like, okay, so our soups are made with a lot of coconut oil, coconut milk, coconut manna, and coconut creams, okay? And I do a lot of communicating with Thailand to get the best coconut milk, coconut products. So I got approached by Whole Foods. They would like to carry our soups. That's fantastic. I don't have an FDA-approved kitchen. I work out of the Veterans Building. We rent that kitchen, okay? it's a step up from, you know. So I decided to put together a program where we start selling our soups to all the coffee shops in the area, or all the small restaurants, and I started approaching them. Everyone's interested, everyone wants to purchase it because it's just another product for them that they can market. That is a really good product. It doesn't come out of a can. And so it's like, okay, so how do I get all this together to keep, we have 1,500 meals a month currently going out the door. So how do I get double that or triple that and be sustainable? So, okay, so we got the sales going on there. And then I thought, well, now we need a facility. And this is the facility that we had drawn up. And this facility will also house a cafe, which will also be another stream, revenue stream. And so this will be a facility that will sell to the retail stores. This will be a facility that will generate revenue here. It'll also be a facility that will have educational purposes. The only thing we're missing is the capital to get a facility. We started a small campaign. We just put together our literature, and we've already have money coming in. And so now I'm looking to you guys for the support. What's that? Oh, yes, and I have someone here from the Housing Authority, because we also supply the Housing Authority with food and things of that nature. So that's Alice D'Ariel back there. Come on up and say something nice about me. Okay.
Have to go all the way up, or?
No.
I'll just quickly say, I mean, I'm just here, really to lend my support to Anthony, and we're a longtime collaborator with Organic Soup Kitchen. Housing Authority serves over 3,000 low-income households, and that includes folks coming from homelessness, seniors, families, youth. So there's just never been a time that we've approached Anthony with a need that he hasn't responded. Currently, he and Andrea have been serving our seniors up at our Shipco property on the Mesa. They're probably putting out 40 to 50 meals every single Monday. Not only has it been a way to generate community in a very positive way among that client group. There's a lot of construction going on there at the moment. Our seniors weren't too happy with the Housing Authority. They're actually being relocated, so it's been a very positive way to bring the community together. They're thrilled beyond belief with the quality of the food. And also it's been a way to serve the homebound seniors. So in addition to the folks that arrive to eat there on site, Anthony and Andrea provide packaging so that meals can be delivered to seniors that are not able to come up to the community center. So we have seniors well into their mid to late 90s, that have been in place with us for decades. So there really isn't anything that they don't do. I feel like they feed our formerly homeless at El Frio Studios, which is a supported housing development just down the road here. And so I'm really just here to kind of lend my support and sing Anthony's praises. And the only complaint is there's only one of him, and we wish we could have him at more of our sites. So
That's it. Thank you. And that's our board sitting back there. You can just stand up and look intelligent. Come on. There you go. Okay, and again, there's some literature. Check it out. You like what you see. Thank you.
Okay. Next, Gary? Gary? I persuade you to pull the next one?
Sure.
Yeah. The winner is?
The winner is Los Pueblos High School.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you for having us. My name is Sean Carey. I'm the principal of Dos Pueblos High School. We're here with our sister school, San Marcos, and you're hearing from us first. This is Assistant Principal Bill Woodard, and I brought with me a performing arts teacher, Clark Sayer, and he's going to take it from here. But I will simply say to you that in the Santa Barbara Unified School District, our mission, since that was one of the prompts, is about a paragraph long, but in brief, it's every child, every chance, every day. And what you're about to see will represent our proposal to you.
Thank you very much for having us. I'm Clark Sayer, and I'm going to be the director of this Creative Studies Academy. And how you can help us, this is going to be a sort of immersive experience, so if you could please pull your chairs towards the table as much as possible. We're going to actually be walking around the table, so, and this is my only area right here. Okay, good, all right. Thank you very much. So tuck those feet in, thank you.
What if the instructions for your college class final was just one word?
Innocence.
Miracles.
Water.
Proactive.
These are examples of prompts for All Soul College's final exam at Oxford University.
What if you walked into an interview and were asked, how many quarters would it take to reach the height of the Empire State Building?
A penguin walks in through that door right now wearing a sombrero. Why is he here, and what does he ask?
Pretend you're the size of a nickel trapped in a blender that's about to start in 1 minute. How will you escape the blades?
These are real interview questions that you might have received if you applied for a job at Google, Clark Construction, or JetBlue.
What if you got the job and were asked and encouraged to create a work environment that would maximize your creative potential?
Like making a conference room from a van.
A slide that takes you down from one floor to another.
A fairy tale hut.
A kindergarten classroom. These are exactly the kinds of work environments created at companies like IDEO, Pixar, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, and dozens of others.
Yeah,
but can you teach creativity?
Tina Selly at Stanford University's D School says,
Yes, you can. Teresa Amabile at Harvard's Graduate School of Business says, Yes, you can.
Ed Sereth of University of Michigan says,
Yes, you can. UCSB's College of Creative Studies says, Yes, you can. How do you learn creativity?
By framing and reframing problems.
By connecting and combining ideas.
By
challenging assumptions.
By
Knowledge.
observation.
Attitude. Seeing things at a different angle.
At
a different
angle.
And asking why.
How can you test creativity?
You can't.
But you can. Expect students to demonstrate creative solutions to problems in math and science. Expect students to have unique insights on historical, nonfiction, and fiction books and documents.
Expect students to research and propose a capstone project.
Original projects like
An art exhibit.
a fashion portfolio,
A symphony.
a performance arts piece, a movie,
A novel.
a play,
A business proposal.
a thesis, a website, or anything else that is approved by the thesis committee. What kind of environment will be needed?
Who will participate?
Students like me, who love music, theater, visual arts, design, creative writing.
Students like me.
Who have created, who have checked out of school because they don't have any, they can't find subjects that interest their creativity.
Students like me, who have a tough home environment.
You need a place to feel valued, connected. Students
Students
like me.
who have no idea what jobs will be out there in 10 or 20 years. Students like me.
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 Students like us.
Who are ready for anything.
Thank you.
hard to read, huh? Maybe we can take the logo off the top and use more non-text. That'd be great. Hi, my name is Nicolette Daniel, and I'm the Grants Manager at Domestic Violence Solutions for Santa Barbara County. I'd like to introduce our Board President, Claudette Rohrig, who's here with me today, and our Associate Executive Director, Marcia Marco. So, Domestic Violence Solutions was founded in 1977 and serves women and children who are fleeing their homes due to domestic abuse. Over half of our clients are children, and we serve a population that is extremely unique, and we're the only organization in Santa Barbara County specifically addressing the needs of families facing abuse in their homes. We serve close to 400 women and children annually through our 3 emergency shelters located in both North and South County. And at the emergency shelters, women and children can stay for up to 45 days. They've fled the situation. They usually come to us through a referral from law enforcement or often from a hospital where women are injured, and they call us. And our clients respond, our client advocates respond alongside law enforcement on all 911 calls regarding domestic violence in the county. So we're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Another program of ours is transitional housing, where women who have gone through our emergency shelter program and want to continue to work on gaining independent, violence-free lives for themselves can stay for up to 18 months. And that's where the real work begins, where lives are changed. And we have 18 months then to work in case management with them on the legal issues, the personal issues, everything that they need to have, education, income, employment, to be able to move on with their children and move into independent housing. So we straddle the line between a lot of different types of organizations. We are a legal organization. We're a homeless and housing organization. We are a case management organization. We're a children's organization. And in that, there are many different levels to our services, and it gets very complex, and we don't really fit in any one good niche. And so often we become the exception to things. For example, the majority of our funding comes from HUD, who considers us a homeless and housing agency. But our women are not traditionally homeless. They aren't able to go back to their homes, and therefore they would be on the street if we were not there for them. But they can't be housed with men because of the trauma issues that they've just been through. They more often have small children. They have legal issues in the courts where they're often needing to create safety for themselves from the perpetrator by prosecuting, by suing for custody of children. All of these things make us different from the standard homeless population. And in fact, we're the one exception. There's a national database that's utilized for tracking of services. And as a victim services provider, which is what HUD calls us, we're not even able to use that system. And yet we are required to track the exact same things and provide the same data to them. And the reason we can't use that system is that if our women's place where they're staying or any personal information gets out, there are men stalking each and every one of our clients. There are people looking to try to find them who can do them great harm. So in that, that's one of our complexities. One of the others is that we work with 19 agencies in Santa Barbara County. We collaborate with nearly every agency in the room, certainly, and beyond, because of our need for legal assistance and things that our case managers can do, but then we need to move on to the next step. And over the 18 months, we need to work with police, and we need to work with lawyers, and we need to work with the hospital on all these different levels. What this does, sort of intra-organizationally, is create a matrix of ways that things are done and interrelated that's extremely complex and difficult to learn. And one of the outcomes of this that's happened for us is that it's extremely hard when there's a leaving of one leader to get somebody else in who can understand how things are structured and why things are done the way they are. There's a learning curve of somewhere around, we figure, about 2 years before everything is really sort of fully understood. And so what we found time and again, in the last 6 years, for example, we've experienced 3 executive directors who've been terrific people, but they've come from backgrounds other than domestic violence. And in coming in and wanting to immediately make changes and make the organization look like something they wrap their heads around, there's we've consistently experienced a sort of fixing things that aren't really broken alongside long-standing issues that still stay where they are because they aren't recognized yet, because the thinking hasn't. So it's been, the leadership thing has been a struggle for us. And in this last time, we lost a leader after only 8 months. And in the interim, with the board's support, and the board's idea, in fact, was we brought together a circle of leaders that emerged from within our own staffing. And there are 6 people in that group. And what we found was truly amazing. In the 3 months that that circle has been operating, we have addressed issues that have stood for more than 6 to 8 years. That we've untangled things, and we're working as a collaborative circle, and now finally there isn't the siloing of different sections, like finance looks at it this way and program looks at it this way, and there's team sharing of ideas and input into the way that decisions are made in a way that has brought the organization to a very exciting point. So what we are looking to do is we looked back and said, do we want to go forward and go right back into the hierarchical model that's not been working for us? And I don't think that's the case. So where we could use your support is in some consulting assistance in helping us to formalize governance structure that really truly works for us. It's new and innovative, that may take from business models, that may borrow from that may become a hybrid of many different ideas, but we need to sort of find a way to understand and have a way to go forward and address problems that come with innovative collaborative models, and find something that truly works for us, that hopefully will become a replicable model as well for other organizations for whom hierarchical structure may not be the best way anymore. So that's it.
Glenn, will you do the honors?
Reef check.
Hi, I'm Gary Justice, and this is Jeff Ravenhill. We're going to talk to you about an environmental nonprofit that probably you've never heard of before, and that's going to be a key in how I end this presentation. It's called the Reef Check Foundation, and the specific program I want to talk to you about is called Reef Check California. I want to start with the assertion, if you will, that continuous sustained collection of data is the key to nearshore marine coastal management in California. And what do I mean by that? California has 119 marine protected areas along the shore, along the coast, all up and down the state. Many of those are recently enacted. All of the ones in Southern California from Santa Barbara South were established January 1st, 2012. Those are administered by the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. And the whole idea is they're like national parks or state parks. So you can't, different levels of protection, but you can't fish in some of them, you can't do other things in others. And the idea behind it is that if these areas are protected, then everyone benefits. So if in 5 or 10 years all the marine protected areas flourish, then commercial fishing will flourish, recreational activities will flourish. Everything that we need the coast for and the near shore will flourish. Now, what Reef Check California actually does is pursuant to a very rigorous scientific protocol that we worked with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife to develop pursuant to a written contract, a written MOU. We recruit volunteer scuba divers, we train them in a very rigorous scientific protocol, and we send them out on a continuous basis, month after month, year after year, to monitor what's going on in the reefs. We call it a citizen scientist program. So we have about 500 volunteers in California, and they're citizen scientists. We're probably the only organization that's going to address you today that's not actually based in Santa Barbara County. Reef Check California is part of the Reef Check Foundation. It's a worldwide organization that operates in 90 countries, but with only 7 full-time staff, and it's based in Pacific Palisades. But we are very active in California, in Santa Barbara. I was the board president for about 5 years. I'm currently on the board. I live in Santa Barbara. Jeff Ravenhill, our director of development, lives in Santa Barbara. We do much of our training, classroom training at UCSB. The person who developed the protocol, Dr. Craig Schumann, is still on the board. He resides in Santa Barbara, and he is actually employed by the Fish and Wildlife Department now as essentially our regional manager. And in Santa Barbara, we have 4 coastal monitoring sites and 16 monitoring sites in the North Channel Islands. And that's a little visual representation. And here, I apologize if this picture's a little dark, but this is a volunteer scuba diver actually conducting a survey of a reef. And the way it works is the person uses a transect line, which is essentially like a big underwater tape measure, measures out a defined amount of ocean, a defined amount of space, and then counts indicator organisms. So there are 35 different species of fish, 30 species of invertebrates, and certain plants that are in the protocol. And the idea is year after year, month after month, to survey the same sites to see if the reefs are getting healthier, if they're getting worse, what needs to be tweaked in managing marine protected areas. And then with the data of Fish and Wildlife, the department can act accordingly and expand the protected areas, give more protection to particular species, and that sort of stuff. And here is a little example, and I've left handouts of all this stuff, of the surveying we've done at the Isla Vista Reef here in Santa Barbara. So we surveyed it in 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010. And this is just a very small sample of the data, but some of the key findings as far as 3 different species of selected fish are in this chart. One of them is going downhill fast, so that'll need to be addressed. The others seem to be stable. This is at the end of one of our UCSB training sessions, so they train in the classroom, then they go over to the islands and have a diving training session. And that brings me to how can we work with social venture partners and tap your expertise. Who here has ever heard of us before? Okay, a few people, and I think I've talked to those people individually over the last couple of years. But we have a big problem. We've been written up in Forbes, we've been written up in the New York Times. We received, what is the name of the...
Turner Award?
Yeah.
It's the world's leading ecosystem management organization.
Yeah, so we were selected out of hundreds of nonprofits as the world's leading for environmental sustainability, and yet in Santa Barbara County, no one has ever heard of us. So we need to get the word out. We need to have a very specific plan. We need to develop a very specific plan and implement it so that we know who to talk to about the organization, we know who to make presentations to, so that if I would stand up, okay, I gotta wrap it up, so if I would stand up here a year from now, or Jeff would, or 2 years from now, almost everybody in the room with some environmental consciousness would know who we are and what we do. Thank you.
I guess I can be trusted like the last one. San Marcos High.
Good afternoon, I'm Ed Behrens. I'm the principal at San Marcos High School. And my question for you today is, what a better way to improve Santa Barbara than by helping support the education of future business leaders of Santa Barbara. We've created an entrepreneurship academy at San Marcos High School, which we're really excited about. we feel like it's a great fit for Santa Barbara because there's so many startups here. And that first picture is a picture of our first cohort class who is in our Entrepreneurship Academy. So the future business leaders of Santa Barbara. We created the Academy in concert with Santa Barbara City College, so we're actually offering City College courses to high school students. The students are getting dual enrollment credit, so they're getting credit at high school and credit in college. And so our coursework is starting in the 10th grade with Marketing 101, Introduction to Marketing. In the spring of their sophomore year, they'll take online mobile marketing where they'll learn about marketing through social media. In the 11th grade, they'll be taking Intro to Finance, City College class, and Intro to Entrepreneurship. And then in their senior year, they'll be participating in the Kids Helping Kids program, which is hopefully you've heard of. It's a big fundraising group where students do charitable fundraising and give back to the community. They get to determine where they want their charitable dollars to go. And that's through our AP Micro and Macroeconomics class and teacher Jamie DeVries at San Marcos. And then finally, in the spring of their senior year, they'll create their own business plan, and they'll compete in a business plan competition at the Schonfeld Entrepreneurship Center at City College, where there will be actual potential funders there. So we could have students leaving high school starting their own businesses. So I'd like to hand over to our director, Alex Sheldon. He's the director of the Entrepreneurship Academy.
Hi, so I'm going to continue talking about what we call the capstone projects of the Academy. So we have the coursework, which prepares students to basically get to their senior year. And how Kids Helping Kids started was we have a penny drive at San Marcos. And a class decided they wanted to be competitive, and it was an AP Econ class, to figure out how they could be successful with the penny drive. So they started by having a raffle. And they took the proceeds and they put it into the penny drive, and then they turned it from a raffle to a dinner, and then it was a dinner and a concert. And now they put on concerts every year at the Granada. This past year they raised almost $200,000, which the proceeds went back to the Santa Barbara community, and some of them came back to San Marcos High School. So they've been very successful doing this during their AP Econ class, and we think that when students start in their sophomore year and they take a marketing class and a finance class and an entrepreneurship class over a 3-year period, that they'll be even more successful with this program. And then that's kind of the big group idea, and then they're going to take all these skills and apply them themselves to creating their own business plan to enter in the business plan competition at Santa Barbara City College. So those are the two kind of big projects we see as the way that we're going to be able to evaluate the success of our program. We have faculty working on this right now. Besides me, there's Jamie DeVries, who started Kids Helping Kids, and his goal really was to turn AP Economics more into a textbook and lecture class, into something that's very experiential, hands-on. And then Russ Granger, who's teaching our marketing class now, and he's been a very successful teacher developing our auto program. If you've heard of the electric Porsche project, he took students and they got a Porsche, they took the engine out completely, and they redid it as an electric car. And this was all, both these activities have been completely student-driven activities. Then we also, to support the students, want to set up a mentor program, and we're working with Partners in Education on this right now. But the mentor program will be finding members of the business community to work individually with students to help them develop their own specific business ideas. And then also during the junior year, we're going to find internships and job shadows for students so they can get real hands-on experience before they go on to work on whatever it is that they're interested in. So along the way, we have these real-world enrichment activities, and I just want to point out we're moving towards kind of a new time in education with the Common Core Standards. And the Common Core Standards goal is to prepare students both for college and career, which really fits with our mission statement. And it's also trying to find real-world application for students instead of things that are just procedural. And I guess an example of that I could give from Kids Helping Kids is students can learn about supply and demand and maximizing revenue on a whiteboard, or they can learn about it by booking an artist and finding out what ticket price with 2,000 seats will maximize your revenue. So it's a much better experience for students. But a few of the other enrichment activities, the one I'm most excited about is the microloan program where a group of students, they're going to get a loan, and their job is to, in a fixed period of time, start a business, pay back the loan, and then any profits would either go towards a charitable donation or back to the academy. But we brought one of our students, JT Tomlinson, with us, and he's been in our program now for, this is the 4th week, and he's going to talk a little bit about his experience.
Thank you, Mr. Sheldon. My name is JT Tomlinson. I'm a sophomore at San Marcos High School. I'm thrilled to be part of the inaugural class of the Entrepreneurship Academy. And I joined the Academy with a specific purpose in mind. Having already created a product to market and sell, I wanted to learn the basic fundamentals of business, how to market and sell the product. So for those of us who truly want to do this, the Entrepreneurship Academy seemed to me, and I've said this before, like a capital way to do so. So 3 years down the road, when I graduated from high school, I come out of this academy experience with the knowledge of marketing, finance, and entrepreneurship, which are just some of the classes we'll be taking, as you saw earlier. I hope to have the knowledge to create and manage a successful and sustainable business. I hope to do this in the classroom as well as the relationships I create with successful entrepreneurs in the Santa Barbara business community. And I know for a fact that a partnership with social venture partners would be highly beneficial to both current generations as well as those yet to come. Thank you.
Just to highlight how I think that the Social Venture Partners and the Entrepreneurship Academy can work together is what I think we really need to go forward is a sustainability plan that we can implement. And we have a plan in place where we're going to franchise Kids Helping Kids, and I know that there's people in Social Venture Partners who specifically have experience with franchising, and we would also just like to be able to take what we have now, which is funds to start up the Academy, and translate them into long-term success for us. And I know Unleashing Potential is one of the slogans for Social Venture Partners. We think we have a lot of potential, and hopefully you'll be able to help us reach it. Thank you.
Wow. You know, these people put in a lot of time and effort. Let's give them all a big hand. Let me just mention that handouts will be in the room, front room. And I'm reminded when Anthony came in earlier, he said, how do we win this thing? And I said, well, you got in good with me. Actually, the truth is, I don't matter in this, it's the choices by our partners. And the criteria we need is, we have 3 different areas of interest: homelessness, education, and environment. We'd like to have at least one in each of those categories. But the criteria is we need 2 partners to agree to lead one of these projects. And we also need a discrete, discernible timeline for when they're going to need other partner help, and we need other partners to step up and be involved. So it's really a selling game to get our partners to do this. You know, if we have partner involvement, there's no reason we can't do all 7. So I put that out there as a challenge to you.